Hello and welcome to another extra midweek edition of Louise Singleton Creations, brought to you this week by IntoResin. IntoResin have sent me 5 of their handmade moulds, and today I'm going to be using all of them. I just couldn't wait, I had to use them all. So if you'd like to see how they turned out, stay tuned and enjoy the video. Right, because I'm making 5 different projects today, I'm keeping it quite simple. I really needed to cast some resin in these moulds before I could really visualise them and think of plans of doing things with colours and all of that. I just needed to see the basic shape. So first of all, I decided to make clear ones in all of them. Well, all except one. You'll see the other one later. So in 4 of them, I decided just to fill them with clear resin. And the resin I'm using today is J. Dixon's High Gloss Epoxy Resin. It's just a regular resin, it's not a deep pour resin, and it turned out well. And because the moulds have a very detailed crystal textured surface, I gave them all a good rub with my finger to make sure that there were no little pockets of air trapped within those crystals. Once they were filled up, all I needed to do was wait for them to cure, and 8 hours would have been long enough, but I left them until the next day. Right, the next day it was time to take them out of the moulds, and this one is the geode, I think it was called a geode tray or something like that, but it works like a little dish, a trinket dish or tray, and I really like it. And it actually sparkles more in real life than you can see on camera. I did struggle to capture the sparkle, but I don't know if you can tell, but it's very authentic looking, and I don't know, but I'm guessing that they might have actually moulded a real geode slice, not slice, section of a geode or half of a geode. Yeah, because of the details in there, it does look very real, and I'm thinking that's what they might have done when they made it, but I might be wrong, just a guess. So this one is another geode one, and this one is more round in shape, and I really like this one actually. Look at that. Absolutely gorgeous, and it's kind of got some cracks in the stone texture on the outside, which is another thing that makes it look very real. And so yeah, absolutely lovely. I decided to paint these on the outside. You wouldn't need to, they're good to go as soon as they come out of the moulds. I think they're already gorgeous, but I kind of wanted to make them look like real geodes, and I had some success and some failure with that plan, but anyway, you'll see what happens. Now these ones didn't work, and it's nothing to do with the mould, everything to do with me. And I'll tell you what I did. I decided to spray on some alcohol to get rid of the bubbles, and I put too much in and they didn't cure properly. They were sticky and bendy, so I did these ones again. Okay, so let me have another attempt with this mould. You will see me unmould the other one that you saw me cast before, the blue one. That's like a crystal effect whale, faceted crystal whale, and it's gorgeous, and I'll demould that in a minute. But I just wanted to make some more of these because they'd gone wrong. And so yeah, I filled all of those up, and then on the other mould I decided to add some pressed flowers. Right, I only wanted to half fill these because the plan was to half fill them, put my pressed flowers in there, let that cure, and then fill it up to the top so that the pressed flowers would stay in the middle and not float up to the very back of the finished piece. I wanted them in the middle, so that's why I'm only half filling them at this stage. And as you can see, I've made up too much resin, which is something I always end up doing. It's my own fault for guessing instead of working out the capacity properly like I should. But anyway, not to worry. So while that was degassing a little bit, I decided to take my whale out of the mould because, as I just said, I had some resin left and I wanted to try something else in the same, in this whale mould. So to do that, I needed to get it empty. Let's have a look at the whale. So there you can see, just with clear resin in, it's already very beautiful. And once again, I couldn't capture the sparkle that is really there in real life. Yeah, I'd love to know the trick of capturing it on camera, but I just couldn't quite capture it. But anyway, there you can see it's a really beautiful whale, quite cute, but also very elegant with that crystal effect. So I wanted to try a different technique with that. And so now I've got my empty mould, I can do that. And what I did was I used my leftover resin and just half filled that. And then once that was cured, it was time to add something else, which you will see very soon. And so now it's time to add the flowers to this one. And I'd already sorted out some flowers that would kind of fit, and I've sped through it because I did take quite a while. But basically I'm just putting them in there, arranging them so that it will look good, back to front as well. That's the thing. You've got to kind of imagine what you need to be seen from the front, because I'm working from the back. And so yeah, I've sped it up just because it took me a while to get it just right. And yeah, it's very simple. Just make sure they're all immersed and then you can leave it to cure. So while they're curing, let's do a bit of painting. I was going to be making like a stone colour on the outside, but I didn't want the darkness to show through in the middle. I didn't want to lose the sparkle, and I decided it would be best to paint the outside white first, so that from the inside, looking at the crystals, it wouldn't have that dark background from looking at it from the inside. Does that make sense? Well, that was my thinking anyway, so yeah, I decided to just paint the outsides white, let them dry, and then use my stone colours. Right, so before I do the rest of the painting, I did have a little bit of a plan. I wasn't sure if it would work, but I've got a very inquiring mind, and when I get an idea, I've got to try it. So I decided to take some holographic glitter, mix it with UV resin, and coat the base of the geodes, just to see how it would look coming through all that crystal texture. I thought it might give it a really nice effect. And here it is after it was cured. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see the difference, but I can see the different colours in there that weren't there before. So next it was time to paint them and try to make them look like stone on the outside. And I did faff around with this for quite a long time, trying out different colours of acrylic paint. And I was kind of happy with it in the end, but not entirely. Yeah. Anyway, we'll see how it turns out in the end. But yeah, it was all just an experiment. If you don't try, you don't know, do you? Right then, so for that flat face of the sliced geode, I decided I wanted that striped effect that you sometimes get on sliced geodes. And so I decided to paint it white again to give it a base, and then paint the stripes on. However, yeah, I wasn't happy with the result. I will be completely honest. It was a lot of work to paint on the stripes, and in the end, yeah, it didn't look great, but still, you might like it anyway. That's always the way it works out in my videos. The things I don't like, there's always a few people that say, oh, I like that. So I've kept it in, and I didn't paint over it. I just left it as it was, and it was okay. And to protect it, and because I wasn't happy with the pattern, I wanted to dull it down a bit but protect it at the same time, I decided to add some coloured UV resin to see if that would help to just calm it down and make it, the pattern, less obvious. But looking at it now, I think I preferred it before I put the UV resin on. But anyway, yeah, that was the plan. I just wanted to see if it would work, you know, just see if I could calm it down a little bit. So, yeah, you try these things. It's all trial and error with art, isn't it? Try things out, see what works and what doesn't work. And with the other one, because it was very much just like a plain grey stone, I decided to give it some life in those cracks by adding some gold with my fine gold marker, and that did bring it to life quite a lot. But one other thing that I did later on off camera was I coated it with some resin. I had some resin left over and just decided to coat it with resin and make it shiny, and that helped a lot actually, and you'll see it finished very soon. Okay, back to my flowers, and it's time to fill up the mould because that's cured. And yeah, that's it. Basically, all I had to do with that one was fill them up. But onto the whale, I had a plan for that. I thought it would be really good to have some really beautiful colours showing through that crystal effect from the bottom, and I had just the thing. I absolutely love the colours of these shell slices from Laura's Art Corner, and so I decided to mix some of those into some resin and fill up my whale mould and see what would happen. I had a feeling it would look really good, but who knows, you never know until you get it out of the mould, do you? And speaking of getting things out of the mould, let's do just that. Let's have a look how everything turned out in the end. So here's my second attempt at these ones, which I can't remember the name of. As I've probably already said, I will leave links to all of these moulds in the video description. And so second time around, these turned out much better. I really like these. I think they're really pretty. I'm not sure what I would use them for other than as ornaments standing up. And yeah, I haven't cleaned up the back yet. I've just, I'm looking at it as I'm speaking. Yeah, there's still some bits sticking out at the back where I poured it, but that needs sanding down. So yeah, I think they could maybe be good on the bottom of light pulls, you know, when you've got those string pull lights in bathrooms and things. I think they might be good for that, you know, or pendants maybe. So yeah, I think they're very natural looking. I think they're lovely. Right, let's have a look at the flowers. And you know what, out of all the moulds, I think this one might be my favourite. I love how it's not a sharp edge at the front. It's very slightly rounded, which just gives it that extra finishing touch. And those flowers are gorgeous. You can't go wrong with Mother Nature. She's the best artist. I mean, those flowers are just beautiful. Let's have a look at the middle one. And as you can see, they come out of the moulds very easily. There's the back and the side and the front. Gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous, if I say so myself. Yeah, very clear and beautiful. And here's the last one. Let's have a look at this one. Again, very, very pretty. These flowers are from a pack that I got from Let's Resin, so you can purchase these flowers. You don't have to press your own. And yeah, I'm very happy with all three of those. Let's have a look at the whale. So when you look at it from the top, as you can see, you get all those different beautiful colours from the stones. And because the surface of the whale is faceted, you can't tell that it's stones in there. You just get all the different colours. You don't get the detail of the stones. And then you see it from the side and you can see the stones, and also from the bottom. So yeah, I think that's a really good touch to that one, and it gives it a little bit of magic, doesn't it? And very, very easy to do. Right, so everything's finished and I took it all out into the garden to see if I could capture the sparkle in the sunshine. With this one, now you can see that it's better, that now I've coated it with an extra layer of resin on the outside. It gives it that little bit of class, doesn't it, rather than just the matte paint. I like it a lot better now. And the glitter underneath gives it lots of extra colour too. And the stripy one, well, less said about that, the better. The mould is amazing. The finished casting is amazing, but my artwork on it left something to be desired. I really love the whale. I think that one turned out gorgeous, especially with all that colour in there. And the crystal pillars are gorgeous, and in the sunshine you can see how the light catches it and gives it that prism effect as well, which is really good. I'm wondering if you'll get nice colours coming through them if you put them on a windowsill with the sun shining through them. I'll have to try that and see, but yeah, I think those are gorgeous. And most gorgeous of all is the photo bombing cavapoo in the background. But yeah, here's the flowers, my favourite. I think they're so pretty. What a brilliant mould, isn't it? So useful. And with those all standing together, they do look really good. So that's everything. It's amazing what you can fit into a 16-minute video, isn't it? 5 different moulds and I've used them all. Thank you, IntoResin, for sending them to me. I think your moulds are top quality and I would highly recommend them to all of my viewers. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up if you've enjoyed the video. And from Honey and me, thank you for watching and we will see you again next time. Bye for now.